Our male lead is a struggling actor who started off as a model and is now trying to break into the entertainment business. Our female lead used to be a corporate worker and is now trying to be a makeup artist for the stars. This is their story, their trials, love, and success. This is the review for the Korean drama series, Records of Youth. What first got me into Records of Youth was our main characters, Hae-jun and Ahn Gil-ho. Both of them are very different people and yet have a single goal. For Hae-jun, he wants to be a successful actor, and for Ahn Gil-ho, she wants to be a successful makeup artist. And that itself, the road towards success, was what hooked me. What made me stay and watch the hour of the first episode was Hae-jun's relationship towards his family. Now, Hae-jun and his grandfather's relationship aren't your typical male relationship, in the fact that they are so close that they hold each other's hands, they support each other verbally, they talk heart to heart, and when things get tough, they rely on each other and carry themselves through the burden. The relationship between Hae-jun and his grandpa is actually very different in what you see in mainstream, especially Western films and Western TV. In it that they are very vulnerable with their emotions and they let their guard down towards each other. We see early on that it is established that Hae-jun got his looks and appearance from his grandfather and mother. Meanwhile, counter to that, the father and the brother don't have the same qualities or physical appearance that Hae-jun has, so they are feeling a bit insecure. With that insecurity, they lash out and be very vocal and antagonistic towards Hae-jun and his dreams of achieving stardom and popularity. Towards the episodes, I like seeing the dynamics and rivalry between Grandpa Hae-jun versus father and brother. They both have different sides, and I feel like they're both right from where they come from, and I like the dynamics and the conflict that comes throughout these four characters. What is central around Hae-jun, I believe, throughout the story is that his principles are never compromised. He always does the right thing on whatever challenges that arise or any conflicts that he is faced with. Moreover, I like the fact that the character is aware of his looks. He is attractive, but he doesn't over-rely on it. I also like how the title of the drama is Records of Youth, and then we get a second character who is definitely not in his prime, who is aging, but we get to see his evolution as a character even at that age and trying his best to change himself even at the end of the game. For the brother and father, I like at the start of the story they had this sort of villainous, antagonistic vibe, and you get to kind of hate them because they don't support our main character, Hae-jun. But because they are antagonistic in that sort of sense, you kind of realize where they're coming from because they are the realistic people in the story. They are the ones who are working hard and trying every day to make ends meet. And because they are not gifted with impressive looks, they have to succeed in a different way. Also, because of their insecurity, they lack the communication skills and the compassion to actually bridge towards what they believe in and really explain to Hae-jun and the grandfather that this is what real life is like. Instead of really explaining their values and what they believe is right, they go in a flurry of arguments because they could not express themselves fully. Most Asian families just mask how they feel, and it doesn't really get into a point where they try to resolve the issues or at least fight about it and then come back again and fight about it until they figure out what they really want. For Ahn Gil-ho, other than just being a hardworking person and very independent, I liked her class. Whenever she's confronted with conflicts, especially with the bully at work, her manager, it just is very flawless for her to come up on top and try to smoothen things out with a logical and level-headed mind. This is true when she is bullied a lot and when she is confronted with choices regarding her career and her parents who are very flaky and at the same time kind of off. With regards to her storyline, the bullying part was fairly explored, but the parent issues weren't really exploited as much as I hoped. I would have liked the parents to have more scenes with Ahn Jung-ha, creating a bit of mess towards her relationship and her career, maybe. But I guess it doesn't really matter because she's too independent and she tries to do everything herself and it doesn't really affect much. Out of the whole cast, my favorite character is Min-jae. She was the comedic relief of the story, and at the same time we see her being hardworking like our two main characters. She is in her 40s and is trying a new business, and she does her best to make it work. Through her, we see that the drama's message is that no matter at what age you are, you can always start over and be successful. For the mothers, I like their banner and their internal monologues towards each other and how they interact. It was funny at the same time, very enlightening. We get to see the perspectives of two very different people. One is poor, the other is rich. The one is homely, the other one is too strict. The other one has impossible standards, the other one is just very lax. We see them force their beliefs on each other and at the same time use their sons as proof of their own ideas. Though we do have some great characters, there are some disappointing ones in the drama, particularly Hee-yeol, Gia, and Charlie Jung. We see these characters be passionate about going after the person they want. But towards the middle and at the end, the things that they do don't necessarily equate to that amount of passion. They could have brought more conflict and mess towards the story and against our main characters, but they chose not to. And that kind of is disappointing for me, since I was hoping and expecting for them to rattle the cage of the story just a little bit. For our main villain of the story, Tae-soo, he is really pathetic and I hate his mug and he's really so much of a jerk. And I don't like him, and that's great. But what could have worked was Do-ha. If Do-ha managed to push the character of Tae-soo into a more heinous level, I would have really hated the character. It wasn't enough for me. The story could have been better if Park Do-ha made some really interesting arguments or conflicts instead of just being petty and complaining a lot to his agent. Also, the other villain of the story is the reporter. I was already beginning to hate her and her guts, and her acting is really, really on point for me to hate her. But I just couldn't get over the fact that she is dumb. Also, for the other villain of the story, the reporter. Her acting is on point, her lines are great, and I just can't help but hate her, and I love her for it. But I couldn't get over the fact that, as a reporter, she's dumb. She fails at it completely. She gets mad at Hee-jun because of a rumor, when in fact, reporters are supposed to do fact checks. You're supposed to get both sides of the story. Know that your reasons and your sources are both valid before you pursue a story or cling to a side. Actually, you're not actually supposed to cling to a side. You're supposed to give out the truth. And she doesn't do anything of that. I would have loved to hate her if she was actually smart, if she was a great reporter, but I never get to see that. She latched on to a rumor and made that a big deal. So it's a breaker for me. I give this series a 5 out of 5. The drama definitely delivered on its message. That is, whatever background you come from, whatever stage in your life you are in, or whatever age you are at, you definitely can succeed if you give the time, the effort, the hard work it needs for it to grow. I also like the character of Hee-jun a lot. He showed a mix of vulnerability and emotions and strength through his ups and downs. We saw a strong male lead who was crying and broken down and is trying again. We rarely see that on Western films and other media, where a strong male lead character expresses emotions and is not afraid to be vulnerable. Another positive for me are the fun moments, especially with the range of the cast. We see the mothers bantering off, telling each other that they're better, and then the other character, the manager, Grandpa, Jinu, we see them being a comedic relief through tough moments and dramas in between. My recommendation is, if you're after light comedy, full-on drama with no violence whatsoever and a great love story, definitely watch this one. The 1 hour and 16-minute long episode isn't dragging, there's full of conflicts and events that happen all throughout. If you found this video helpful and enjoyable, do give me a like. If you want to see more reviews in the future on Asian drama TV series and films, don't forget to hit that bell button and subscribe. Our word for the day is opa, where opa means brother. Females use this a lot towards their older brothers or older male friend or someone they're flirting with. That's it.